This episode of Whiskey Riff Raff is brought to you by Rebels and Renegades Festival, located in beautiful Monterey, California. Rebels and Renegades is a country music festival that brings together some of the best artists from across the genre, including top-notch headliners, Turnpike Troubadours, and Whiskey Myers, along with other great performances by Flatland Cavalry, Morgan Wayne, Charlie Crockett, and so many more. The festival takes place October 6th through the 8th, and tickets are on sale right now. For more information on purchasing tickets, go to www.rebelsrennegadesfest.com.
All right, we got the boys from Flatland Cavalry here. Start out by saying that this episode is sponsored by Rebels and Renegades Festival in Monterey, California, October 6th through the 8th. And you guys will actually be there. It's an incredible lineup. If people haven't looked, the lineup every day is incredible. And for you guys, when you kind of see the artists, you know a lot of them. You've probably played some shows with some of them. How pumped are you for this festival?
Man, as soon as we saw it come across our desk, I mean, like you said, the names on there: Turnpike Troubadours, Steel Woods,
Jamie Wyatt was on that day.
Molly Tuttle. Just a diverse kind of span of music for all different kinds of listeners. Man, we're honored to be a part of it for sure. Being a band from Lubbock, Texas, you know what I mean, especially being a part of a music festival out there in California, like it just seems a little off the beaten path where you wouldn't expect it. But we've had really some great times, in situations and places like that because of that, so excited.
Do you guys turn down a lot of festivals? Is that like a thing? You said it comes across your desk. Like, are you like, nah, pass, or is it more like, hey, we're not doing anything? Yeah, why not? How does that kind of work?
It used to be, I meant that more tongue in cheek. It used to be that way where like you went by every offer, but now like our management team really, kind of fields all that stuff. And definitely it's more like, hey man, we got some good news. You guys got an offer to play this really dope festival, and we're just like let's go, dude, getting to play with our heroes and stuff. And that part never gets old,
It feels like festivals in general are just as fun for the artists, the acts, the bands, just as fun as them for people coming through, because we get to see other shows that we don't normally see. We get to hang out with band members from different, there's just cross contamination going on, if you will, cross pollination, if you will. So when you hear stuff like that, it's just festivals in general are just fun, and then going out to California where it feels good, and then just that whole Americana diversity that's happening out there. It's pretty great.
Yeah, we'll have like a merch tent there for the people that are going, so hopefully they can pick up. I'm sure you'll meet some of our team there, guys, and have a good time, hopefully, and get you some more gear.
We're sending a crew.
Yeah, I was just wearing that sad country songs make me happy shirt just yesterday.
Oh, nice.
And today I wore it 2 days ago.
Whether it's you or your management, whoever, if you ever want more stuff, we got a lot of we'll have a lot of new hoodies and all this stuff coming out soon, so we're happy to send you guys anything. Shop at whiskyriff.com, everybody. But speaking of kind of earlier in the year and some of the stuff you've done, Luke Holmes, I think, has done a really good job for being as massive he is in the mainstream, kind of taking acts. Even he just announced some new ones for his upcoming leg. But you guys were with him, Laney Wilson, Riley Green, Brent Cobb. Luke Holmes a North American leg of his 2023 World Tour. What was that like, working with him, and that kind of size of those crowds, being on the road out there with Luke?
It was truly amazing, and got to learn so much. It also went by like this, It's like we started off in Cowboy Stadium on March 25th, which for us was like, we could have ended the tour there too. That's like us getting across off a bucket list.
That's
Is that like 100,000? How many people fit in there? Oh, with the stage, I guess you got to kind of remove some, maybe. But
yeah, I think that the cap was like at 60K or something like that. But I think the place holds like 100 or whatever. But I don't. Has that many Cowboys fans showed up to the game before?
I don't know, man. Ridiculous. Everything's just echoing.
Every year is their year, right? It's the
Straight probably did like 100,000 there. No, maybe am I wrong?
Shoot, I have no idea.
But
I think I think he did because he had the circle stage in the middle. I don't know how he did it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry.
no, it's all good. That's where the tour started off, and over the course of, I mean, 17 dates and X amount of weeks or whatever, but over 17 weekends, kind of got to know Luke and their camp, a lot more, and the band's really good guys and their whole team, and really kind to us. We try to do our part, and we play 25 minutes and just get people excited to see Laney Wilson, you know what I mean? And just kind of get to befriend everybody slowly but surely, and just learn from each other, because everyone's out there doing the same thing, and obviously people are further along and have different opportunities and stuff. And so anytime that we got a moment to hang out with Luke or anything of that nature, he was always very meek, cool, give you all of his time, you know what I mean? There was a couple moments where I had asked him to meet my brother or something, and I was like, hey man, this is my brother, dude. He's a CPA, dude. Like, he encouraged me to like not be a CPA and to like do this. And I'm like in the middle telling him this, story. And he's like, just go get him, dude. And I'm like, all right. So
I hate to be that guy.
Yeah. And he talked to him for like, I mean, almost 10 minutes, and just, he's just that kind of guy, you know what I mean? And I feel really grateful that we had the opportunity, and, it was a challenge as far as playing. It's not, we get 25 minutes, so you get like 5 to 7 songs or something to try to make a splash. But like I said, our job is to get people excited and ready for whoever's coming up next, and just show what we do, So it was truly a grand opportunity, and all the while we were doing our North American tour as well. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, man. It's been and here we are in August already. It's like, where did it go?
Yeah.
What's it like crafting a set list for like 25 minutes? Are you mixing it up a lot each night, or are you kind of just running with your same 5, 6, 7 songs?
We changed it up quite a bit, almost like every weekend. I mean, we had some songs that just seemed to be good openers and stuff, and how we want to close the show. But just, I mean, it's really challenging, man. I mean, it's like, how do you make a lasting impression? You got, I mean, it's 25 minutes, and usually, but like I said, I don't want to discount that. You know what I mean? I feel like we gave it our best and tried to be creative. And
I felt like it was good. We already knew that, Luke's got the heaters too, like it's high energy stuff. And, there's half of our set, is the lonely, the sad songs, the stuff that hits people in the heart, easy on the ears, heavy on the heart, as we say. So we kind of knew into it, just like, let's 25 minutes, let's throw some heaters. It's the summer. People are out there wanting to drink beer, jump around a little bit. So we kind of started off with that, and then just saw everywhere through the country as we were going, what worked, what didn't. In Chicago at Soldier Field, we played
Sweet
Home Chicago. Yeah. And just to give it to the crowd. But yeah, to answer your question, we're just
How does that work? 'Cause I think it's great for like a highlighter when he has a bunch of like the artists he picked, or if you're gonna cover a song like that in a city like Chicago, where Wes and I both where we found Whiskey Riff and came from, do you have to like run it by anybody performing after you? Like, hey, were you planning on doing this? Because, or say the Cubs won a game and you wanted to sing "Go Cubs Go." I don't know if you've been to Wrigley Field ever, but if the Cubs win, they sing this song called "Go Cubs Go" from back in the day. So if like you want to do something like that, but there's a couple artists after you got to be like, hey, by the way, and they're like, I was gonna do it. Does that ever happen or no?
I never thought of
that. It's been done to us so many times, and we're like, oh shit, we can't play Country Roads tonight, or whatever it is. So it's like, and then that euphemism of it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission, I guess, or it's easier to. So it's like, I mean, yeah, but also to your point, I never even considered to ask.
I didn't either.
Anybody else. But
well, I'm blanking, Wes. We did an article, maybe it was like a historical post from back in the day, but somebody opened to piss off their opener. They sang the opener's song at the time.
George Jones was opening for Buck Owens, I believe, a while back, obviously, and wanted to headline. And Buck was like, get the hell out of here. What do you mean you want a headline? Like, you open up, I go on afterwards. Like, that's how it is. Shut up.
Sure.
So George was like, I'm going to learn his entire set, and I'm going to go out there and sing every one of his songs. And that's what he did.
Yeah. I think
That was the last time he opened up for Buck Owens.
That is, dude. That's a legend. That makes for a legendary story, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I believe Tracy Lawrence told that story on Justin Moore's podcast.
I was looking for.
So shout out Justin Moore's podcast.
Oh yeah,
talking about the tail.
So yeah, go out and learn Luke's whole stat, and then just play it.
Well, apparently Jones regretted it, according to this article title of ours. But yeah, I guess you guys got to make sure don't pull that, I guess. But you also opened a few shows for one of the. I mean, I think a lot of people would put him on the Mount Rushmore of country music, Willie Nelson. Did you get the chance to get to know him at all, or if not, even just saying hello? Like, what did that feel like? If it was your first time meeting Willie, I don't know if it was or not.
It was our first time meeting him. We absolutely respected, their privacy and, his age and wellness and all that stuff. And so we're pretty much, the rule of thumb was like, don't get near him, don't touch him. You know what I mean?
We
we respect that dude, but I guess it worked out because we got to meet him second to last show before the tour was over, the week before or something. And I don't remember him. I was kind of like in shock when it's happening. It's like one of those things I could go back and be like, dang it, dude, like you weren't as present as you could have been, but I was just in shock. Like, he went towards us and he sticks his hand out to us and shakes our hand. I don't think he said anything, but his expression and his face were like nice to meet you and like thank you for being here. You know what I mean? It's like we're telekinesis was going on. You know what I mean?
It's like an oracle or something. It just came with some wisdom, didn't even say anything, and we just
flows
crazy.
You.
That's
awesome.
Man.
That truly, as far as me personally, I'm not sure how you feel. It's like getting to meet him or even to get to play on the same stage as him, dude. He was walking on, and he invited us to come up and sing every night. Like it's something that I will remember until I'm 90 years old, Lord willing. It's like it's one of those things I was hoping would happen, in our career at some point, and I'm not sure who was reading my diary or whatever or anything like that, but it came to pass, man. And so and God bless Willie, dude. He's still doing it, man. His set's still dope, and he's playing the songs from the heart and soul. And I remember like a cool anecdote kind of goes with this. The second show we did with them was in Dallas, Texas, and all of our family and stuff came out and stuff, and like my uncles and aunts, my tios and tias from far west Texas came out, and they were like, I got to have a moment with them, and they were like, we always wondered if Willie would ever sing a duet with you, but then like that was something I was always thinking about at home, and then here we are coming watching you, and you're on the same stage with them, and you're singing BGVs like to the crowd, and it's just like creating those moments that you remember forever, that are really special. I think that's what Willie has attached to his name, like Willie Nelson and family. It's feels like a family thing. And I remember crying after hearing him play Always on My Mind. Just what's it called when it happens to you and you don't have it was like a response or reaction. I couldn't contain it. It was like, yeah, man, what was it, dude? What about you? Sorry.
He's and the crazy thing is, man, he's got it on stage. He's up there. He's playing Trigger, his guitar.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds so iconic because it's plugged in. It's got some sort of pickup that gives it a little bit of distortion, just a hint of it. And either way, it's iconic. It sounds fantastic. He's over there just playing jazzy. His son Micah accompanies him as well, and they're playing off back and forth. And it's easily the coolest campfire I've ever been to. That's what it felt like in Dallas. 20,000 people. But no one's saying a peep. Everyone's listening. And it was, just sitting down like a campfire. And it was something I'll never forget either. So
I feel like that's the kind of artist, like I kind of segue into, like, I think we had a question from like your craziest concert moment from a fan, but there's certain names where like if they're playing and people are being loud and weird and like it's a certain song and it's Willie and everyone's like focused, I'm like, I can't imagine some of the clips we've shared of at concerts where it's like, people are fighting and drunk and this guy gets hit and whatever, they're throwing stuff. It's like with Willie, I just got to imagine everybody goes in there and it's just like this aura of like, all right, be on your best behavior. I hope that was the case. But with you guys in general, with your kind of growing success and everything and these massive shows and your personal shows, and you had any crazy moments? Because there was a lot of stuff going on recently about people throwing stuff and been in the news. But that's always happened. I find a little weird, by the way. I'm like, we've always like seen that people send us
Right.
stuff. And then all of a sudden this year, because like Taylor Swift got something thrown at her, everybody's like,
BB
whoa.
Rexa.
Yeah, they're like, stop. But I remember seeing a lot of that stuff in country from years ago we posted. But have you guys had any bad where you're like, holy shit, this is rowdy. This is a little weren't expecting this, or good or bad?
The Chili Festival was an occasion. More recently was whenever back in 2021 we played at Nutty Brown Amphitheater, and it's no longer there. I think they turned it to an HEB parking lot, but it was a historic venue there in Texas, and it was like post-COVID and stuff, and it was like seated kind of show or whatever. But
yeah,
people would stand up and we're feeling it, especially during this song. We had played a Devil Off My Back, which is kind of angsty and stuff, and there's a part we haven't played it in a while, but like when we play it and I would just diamond the chord and kind of just sit there, and that's the band's cue waiting, like, when are we going to come back in? But I never like sang the part or something. I got lost in the sauce, as they say. And I'm just kind of, dude, we're hanging on this fucking moment, and it keeps going, and no one knows where it's going to go because they're waiting on me, and I think I'm waiting on them. But then all of a sudden, I think people out there in the crowd too didn't know what's going on in the songs. Like, they're waiting for the chorus to gallop. Yeah. Do his fiddle solo. So like all of a sudden people start fighting. There was a fight in the crowd or something. During that moment, I think, and I would attribute part of that fight towards my fault, I guess, because it went on so long that I guess people were just like, give it
you
to
like
me.
right. You start giving
gripping
going down. Yeah,
it's almost like the music is.
Yeah, it always happens. It always happens when you're like in a venue with too many people, and then someone is getting back to their spot after getting a beer, and someone just elbows someone, and it's late in the night, and then they elbow harder, and you're like, hey, that was my girl, and then it just comes back, and then boom, you have a fight, right? So I feel like with every large gathering like that, to a certain extent, it's gonna happen at one point or another. Especially when it's hot in the summer.
Right. It's usually rare that it doesn't happen at our shows often. You know what I mean? We're pretty chill, pretty tame, sing love songs. We're all about, love each other, all that stuff. So it is uncommon, you know what I mean? It's not like go to a Flatland show if you want to get a beer thrown at you or get into a fist fight, but anomalies happen, dude.
Yeah.
And just
go
ahead. Sorry about that.
No, I was just like, we've shared so many of these. It's like Sturgill's covering I'm blanking on it, but like a very like emotional song at one concert years ago, and small venue, and people start fighting, and he like stops the show. He's like, how the fuck are you gonna fight when I'm singing this song?
Maybe John Prine, maybe he was covering.
Yeah,
I
don't it was I think it was a cover for sure, and it was like, you see it, you're just like, whoa. And then the whole elbow thing, that's so true. Like,
yeah,
we're past the age where you're going to the bars and you guys are just like the douchey guys walking by and doing the old. But I'm looking back at like going to Cubs games in Chicago and stuff, and people are drunk off their ass by 11 o'clock in the morning, because the game starts at 1:20, and you're just like, that whole like, oh, I'm not gonna move, I'm gonna like stiffen up when you're trying to get by. I'm like, my seat's right there, and it's like, here we go. And then now with college football starting and in the NFL, we're already getting there's people in the preseason of football getting in brawls. We posted some articles, so it's stay safe out there, guys. I don't know.
It does remind me of one story from the Luke tour. We're in Edmonton, Canada, which I've never been there. I don't know much about it, but it's very far north. I heard there's a lot of like oil riggers, a lot of wilderness people. Like they're
burly guy, yeah.
They're tough, man. And I did see a couple fights up in the pit, right? And it's so far north that towards the end of Luke's set, the sun is still up, so you can see everything.
Oh,
And
What the hell?
dude, and it's like 10 p.m. and everyone's been on it for a while, right? And I think he's singing Long Neck Ice Cold Beer. Long Neck Ice Cold Beer never broke my heart. And on one side of the stadium just like cheers during the slow part. You kind of look over there and someone's going on a knee to propose. Thank you. Propose during that song, which is hilarious for one. And B, the people fighting in front of me, they stop fighting, and then they look for a second, and then they stop fighting just because of that certain moment. I'm just like, these people are lawless, bro. People,
the deep north.
yeah, of course, man. But I just feel like there's tough towns. Pittsburgh was another tough town. You just a good blue collar town where we're sitting on side stage and people are just jumping over just to be side stage and security's taking them. And but I mean it's high energy stuff over in Luke's set. But yeah, I feel like there's always gonna be that.
Luckily there's guys like Ken and like security guards and stuff that kind of just sweep them away. It's like I would imagine 99.99% of people are not trying to get into a fight when they go out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you said, boozing for 3 hours before the show starts or however it goes.
If you're going to a concert and you're getting drunk and you're there to have a good time and you spend money and all this stuff, maybe you had to get a babysitter or whatever, you have a kid. It's like to go that route, it's just like crazy to me. Maybe I'm just like feel like an old soul now.
Getting
I'm only
older.
35, but like
I blacked out during an Alan Jackson concert once. Like I didn't even make it to Alan. It was Chris Young. There was a middle person, Josh Turner.
Josh Turner, yeah.
And I blacked out in the middle of Josh Turner. Didn't even see Al get to the stage. And it's just like I don't even know if I've seen Alan since. So it was like it'll probably be like the biggest regret of my life at some point. But like,
hey Wes, was Josh Turner playing Long Black Train?
He
just blacked out, dude.
He might have been.
Long blackout train.
And it was, I mean, I was like 21 or something, 22. Maybe.
This was before Whiskey Riff,
Yeah, long before that. And like, it's just like, so it's like, you look back and you're like, what are you doing? And I imagine there's a lot of people who were kind of me at that age. And, 15 years later, you're kind of like, oh, well.
Yeah, there's what you just described, something comes to mind of like going to a concert, and I used to feel it. There's still sometimes like I go into a room. I had a conversation with our bus driver one time of like, I used to go into like a restaurant, take anything of what we do out of this, like, oh, someone recognizes you or knows you or anything. I don't know if that has any effect on it or whatever, but I used to like be afraid of like going in social settings, that social anxiety. And now I don't know, I just see us all as human beings. Like I think through writing songs and playing them on stage and realizing that, oh, people feel these emotions too. Like we're all the same, you know what I mean? So like, I don't have that fear anymore, more times than not. But I think that there are some, social anxiety plays a part of people out in the crowd, like, oh man, like if I'm in this big thing, when really we're all, it should feel like we're all in this together. We're all together. There should be no division, you know what I mean? But those other substances get in the way and stuff, and you kind of lose sight of all that stuff. And so incidents happen, but I don't know. That's one thing I want to try to be as a frontman on the stage, like making people feel comfortable. Hey man, have a good time. Don't get your ass kicked or don't kick someone else's ass. Let's try to make it through this thing, without a story like that or whatever. But
right.
I don't know, that kind of came to mind when you were saying that. If that's
how does that
talking about.
How does that differ from like a private show? We were talking a little bit before we got on about you guys doing a private show in Steve's neck of the woods. And like we've talked with, a bunch of different artists about private shows here and there, like Parker McCollum. And I imagine sometimes it's like weird because people just like are like, what's going on over there? There's like a full band, and it's like maybe they're not familiar with the music, or maybe it's a corporate event where it's like me and Steve went to see Whiskey Myers. We went with Whiskey Myers to a Miller Lite like corporate event, and nobody in the room was like, everyone in the room was like, who is this? What's going on here? And we're like, guys, Cody Cannon's singing a fucking acoustic show. Shut your mouth and pay attention.
Yeah.
And nobody there was like, they just couldn't care less.
And it's like 25-year-old girls that work there. They're just like talking about their plans for after they leave the office. Like you could just feel it. And I was like, oh, come on. Like
he's singing Stone, and you're just like, come on, people. Where's your soul? Have you had like, what's it like? How does that differ? Obviously, you played major stadiums, played with Willie, you know, your own massive tours that you guys sell out. And then how does that kind of like the opposite end of the spectrum?
Like playing and people talking like you're saying, or like just kind of like not being attuned to what's going on, I guess.
Yeah, just like the private show when somebody books you at like a, you know, their own kind of event that's a separate thing that's not open to the public. Like kind of what's that experience like?
Sure. Yeah. Another story comes to mind. The guy that made this new record that we're releasing later this year, his name's Dwight Baker. He was telling me that he played an event for some mega corporation, Microsoft, Apple, somebody, and it was a breakfast event or something, and they paid him very well to be there. And he said the same thing. No one, he might as well have been invisible or something, where no one was listening.
Like uncomfortable.
And at that point, yeah, it's like you almost feel like you're in a bad dream or something. But it's like he's like, hey, dude, I played my songs and sang the best I could, and maybe you don't do the small talk thing in between. Maybe you're just like whatever. But he's like, they still, paid me to be there, so I gave it my best. But you're right, there is I still try to figure out how to do those. Private events can be strange, but like we just played one literally just last week in Montana. For the second time, we got it last year. It's on this amazing property. It's literally a homestead. The project's called the Homestead, and really nice people up there it's like their dream. And they invited us to come out there and play a show. And the same thing you're talking about. No one knows who we are. No one, I mean, they know who we are, but everybody else, and it's like, and you kind of get those insecure feelings. Do they care? Whatever. It's like, hey, dude, we're here to play our songs, and they asked us to be here. So like, I'm pouring my heart into these people, and everyone else. I think it's just a matter of like trying to put it in their terms. Like someone that, why should I listen to you, guy that's, don't want to be preached at? Or is it like, hey man, hey guy that's like stirring your Cheerios over there during the breakfast gig. The song's about that feeling or whatever, and they might be more inclined to listen. But yeah, sometimes those private shows feel like you're on a different planet, but there's something within me of being an optimist and looking at the glass half full of like, there's got to be a way to make this thing feel like a party. You know what I mean? And I don't know, maybe that's something we keep trying to scratch the itch or figure out.
Maybe we book you for something Whiskey Riff does one day, and then pay you better than you've been paid for one of those things, and then we make sure we bring the energy, and it's just
our team will love it though.
Well, yeah, because we all love your music and know you guys versus Google or whoever the hell.
Sure. Nah, man. I mean, that'd be awesome. Definitely, that would be a lot of fun. And I mean,
I bet it just sounds uncomfortable. Yeah, I would be but everybody has to be jacked through the roof. Like everybody's got to be like ripping shots. Like, okay, here come the guys. Like, let's go, let's play. We're not doing Cheerios.
No, dude, that'd be a lot of fun. There's a concept that kind of comes to mind of like that I learned about in a book of like you're either married to your audience or you're dating them. And in those scenarios where like this is a private, if it's Flatland Cavalry's sold out show, we're married to the audience, man. I can go out there and play my kazoo for the first song if I want to, because people are there to see us. But it's like, and then the dating your audience scenario, it's like, do you walk up to someone that you don't know and give them a big kiss on the cheek, or do you say hello, and shake their hand? And like, I think there's a process in these social, interactions that we're all involved in that I think add up to something of like, hey, I care that you're here. Like, thank you for being here. Below, this is who I am. Like, it's a respect thing, I guess. I don't know.
It's like reading someone else. Like, it boils down to it. How do you have fun on a first date? I guess talking, but when it comes to a show, I guess only one person's really talking, or saying anything, and the other are listening. So it's like, how do you read the room, and just kind of dig into your bag of tricks, But
yeah,
they can be weird.
For us too. Did you sit in the back of the classroom? back when we were a kid. For
Yeah.
two guys that sat in the back of a classroom growing up, it's pretty ironic how we made it to the front of the class. Now we're teaching. So I guess God has a sense of humor, but at the end of the day, like we were talking about full circle, being kind to another, respecting each other, making each other feel welcome. And if people receive that, then they do. And if they don't, then I've also heard like a 3% of people will never like you no matter what you do. So it's like there is a greater whole of, of good out there that should probably take more of our attention span.
Yeah, right on. You mentioned a new album kind of in passing at that last one. What do you guys got cooking the rest of the year? I know a new single coming out. Technically tomorrow it'll be out once this podcast goes live. So are we looking at a new album? Like what do we got going on here?
Yeah, we have a new album in our back pocket. We're gonna put it out later this year. Can't say exactly just when at the moment because I don't know. I should know this, but I don't. But it's gonna be. We have Odyssey U coming out on August 25th, and then a third single. It's gonna drop later in September, and then we hope to put out the record sometime between now and before the year is over. So, this whole everything we're doing, man, playing shows, like we can get lost in the touring aspect and like who we played with and all this stuff, and then there's the making of the music and getting in the studio and birthing it and all that stuff, which is it's like the most important part, but it also lasts. It's so small in the span of time as far as like we were in the studio for 2 weeks in Austin earlier in March, and it's like everything is built upon that, but no one ever gets to see it. But luckily for everyone out there that's listening, their fans and stuff, we had documentarians, whatever you want to call them. They recorded the whole process and everything, all of our shenanigans, the ups and downs, highs and lows, just having a good time. There wasn't many lows, but
no, I can't think of any. It was a great process. 2 weeks of just living at the studio, and just seeing what these songs could be. Not really even overthinking too much, and that's how music should be, I feel like. Yeah. So it was a good time, but yeah, like you said, something in our back pocket, and kind of just waiting to play it for everyone.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. Send it over when you're ready. Yeah, do we have a name, man?
Yeah, right.
For sure. No, we can give you a pinky, as long as you can do a pinky promise over the phone. You can't share it to anybody, but we can send you a preview before it comes out for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then right before we let you go, one fan question, kind of just go back to kind of just the drinking stuff, because fans always want to know hangover cures. Do you have a ritual pre-show, or do you have like a go-to drink? And then if you kind of overserve yourself, so to speak, do you guys have a hangover cure before you guys hit the next show or hit the road again?
So what you said first, pre-show ritual?
Do you have a ritual or a go-to drink for a show? And then if you kind of do it if you have a few too many, do you have a hangover cure?
We usually do a shot of tequila or some kind of spirit. I mean, it's been tequila lately. Just before the show.
Good choice.
Not everyone. Yeah, it's kind of it's cleaner and it's kind of a stimulant, I guess. But we do that before the show, say a little prayer, even before all that stuff starts. Like our piano player, Adam G. I just discounted him. He does a lot more than play piano. He plays a lot of stuff, but he's usually in the back lounge breathing, dude. Just about 15 minutes Wim Hof breathing, I would say, before the show. Just
Wim Hof.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, brother. Just getting.
I got an ice barrel back here.
That's dope, man. I wish we could. One of these days, maybe we could bring that out on the road. So it's like just
you're close.
Try to bring our awareness up, and then what's that?
No, I go. You bring one of those on the road. I'm like, you guys are very close. You're gonna have your whole spot, your whole bus with a spa and a sauna and an ice bath.
All that good stuff.
Yeah, dude. We'll make sure and let you know the passcode so you can come on.
Right on.
But, yeah, dude. So we try to raise our, just at least me personally, try to breathe, get yourself up to snuff and feel good, and then we, usually say a little prayer, take a shot of tequila. Jason usually says the prayer, just pretty much more or less like, hey, we're all there for each other. Let's all be present on stage. Let's have a good time. And then Reed Dillon, our guitar player, will be like, we usually break it out 1, 2, 3, whatever it might be. 90% of the time it's loose and colorful, which we got from a John Mayer documentary, the John Mayer trio.
Oh yeah.
Loose and colorful. So we'll say something that's like, hey, like this is what we're gonna do on stage. Just be loose, just be colorful, and then play the show. And if we do have too much,
yeah, what's
your hangover remedy?
Sleep. That's usually the best, just to sleep through it. But if I can't, like probably like a workout of some sort, or a workout of some sort. Catch a W for the day, and just sit outside in the summer and just sweat. Or
that sounds like the two things you don't want to do is be in the sun and be all hot and stuff. Like, I think sitting out in the sun and sweating it out and breathing, like two things that sound crazy, but letting that stuff get out of you. And then if you have to do the hair of the dog kind of trick, I do think that does help, but they say it's not the way, you know what I mean? But
it's a short-term solution.
It is, yeah. Well, speaking of Wim Hof though, I would say, like, from experience, is if you did have access to a sauna, and then from there you go to an ice bath, I mean, you're a new man. Like, Brooks and Dunn, brand new man, starts playing just through the heavens.
I like a cold shower, nice cold ice cold shower, a little hair of the dog, maybe ice cold shower bear.
Yeah, you hair the dog.
I in an ice cold shower, man. That sounds really tough.
It is.
Wim Hof over here climbing a mountain barefoot. We can take a cold shower, I think, guys, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah. But no, guys, we love you. Love the music. Love you guys. Been so nice to us and cool with us, and can't wait to share the new stuff. And obviously this Friday too as well. Big music day this Friday with Turnpike and Zach and you guys with the new single. And but can't wait to share it. Stay safe out there. And again, really excited to be able to have you on again. So appreciate the time, boys.
Hey, thank you for the kind words and for always sharing our music to a lot of people out there that never heard it. And thank you for your time as well. You guys are in Wisconsin, Colorado, Nashville, Tennessee, but glad we can talk about music and life, man. So until next time, you guys take care.
Absolutely. Cheers, guys.